It's L-I-L, man. J-O-E-C-O-C-A-M-O. Holla at me, man. Somebody want y'all to do for me on this one, man. Come on now, say it, put your hands up, wave side to side. If you know what's going down tonight. I say it, put your hands up, wave side to side. If you know what's going down tonight. I say it, put your hands up, wave side to side. If you know what's going down tonight. I say it, put your hands up, wave side to side. I say it, put your hands up, wave side to side. I say it, put your hands up, wave side to side. If you know what's going down tonight. I say it, put your hands up, wave side to side. If you know what's going down tonight. I say it, put your hands up, wave side to side. If you know what's going down tonight. I say it, put your hands up, wave side to side. I say it, put your hands up, wave side to side. Y'all know me, L-I-L-J-O-E, same OG. Back in the club and I've been low key. Pass that drink, pass that weed. To the bar, let's get tipsy. You know Hennessy and ice on me. And I'm gon' get it straight bubbly with the freaks to the top in the VIP. So put them grands up, gon' put your hands up. Cleveland in here, I want everybody to stand up. We been drinking, the beats banging, so man up. And we sweating bad, so what the cut? Put your hands up, wave side to side. You know what's going down tonight. I said put your hands up, wave side to side. You know what's going down tonight. I said put your hands up, wave side to side. You know what's going down tonight. I said put your hands up, wave side to side. I said put your hands up, wave side to side. Jimmy, put your hands up, wave side to side. Oh yeah, you wanna ride with a star tonight? No, you wanna ride with a baller, right? Oh no, you wanna ride with a hustler type. All day, all night, with me, whole life. She wanna drop the top and talk that talk and walk that walk and make girls wanna model. She wanna sip out of Gravy's bottles, ride good out of brand new Tahoes. Oh yeah, 150 on the throttle. Oh yeah, she's bad like hollows. Everywhere she go, they follow. Underneath her clothes is cargo. The riches of escargot go. The riches of escargot go. Put your hands up, wave side to side. You know what's going down tonight. I said, put your hands up, wave side to side. You know what's going down tonight. I said, put your hands up, wave side to side. You know what's going down tonight. I said, put your hands up, wave side to side. I said, put your hands up, wave side to side. Take it to the top, bring it down real slow. Take it to the top, bring it down real slow. You know just how it go. You know just how it go. Take it to the top, bring it down real slow. Take it to the top, bring it down real slow. You know just how it go. You know just how it go. Come on, girl, get that cash. Come on, girl, get it fast. Make that man spill his glass. Make that man spill that cash. Come on, girl, break that bag. Then ride off in this jag. Make that man give you half. Revoke his ghetto pass. Put your hands up, wave side to side. You know what's going down tonight. I said, put your hands up, wave side to side. You know what's going down tonight. I said, put your hands up, wave side to side. You know what's going down tonight. I said, put your hands up, wave side to side. I said, put your hands up, wave side to side. I said, put your hands up, wave side to side. If you know what's going down tonight. I said, put your hands up, wave side to side. If you know what's going down tonight. I said, put your hands up, wave side to side. If you know what's going down tonight. I said, put your hands up, wave side to side. I said, put your hands up, wave side to side. I said, put your hands up, wave side to side. If you know what's going down tonight. I said, put your hands up, wave side to side. If you know what's going down tonight. I said, put your hands up, wave side to side. If you know what's going down tonight. I said, put your hands up, wave side to side. I said, put your hands up, wave side to side. Yeah.
Are you gonna listen to the move?
I've been out the loop since '09.
Yeah, I'll be back to get at that though. Check this. I'm at the motherfucking house last night. Guess what the fuck I see?
What you see?
Shamika, what's up?
Fuck you think you fucking with? It's Maxwell, bitch.
Fuck you in them shoes.
Bitch, I'm about to stalk you with these shoes.
I thought I told you to get a jump to Crazy D.
I did give it to Crazy D. You know, D, you must have seen money in that. You know, he used to produce those nudie DVDs.
Fuck you, thin man. I know you did it.
Don't let your mouth write a check, so I will take it out on your ass. Damn, man. Is you serious?
I don't appreciate being roughed up by men. Or should I say, male bitches.
Yeah, you gonna work out.
And we look for young ladies like you to host them.
I look like somebody that can host your videos.
That's right. So go change, cause we ain't got all day.
Get off the house.
Pretty good, though. We doing that bullshit.
Crazy. What the hell? How you in my room?
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro in Atlanta, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps.
Here's the thing about your movie, why I made a curator's pick of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Community, heart, you're doing
What's going on, people? How you feeling? This is another great episode of hashtag ObservationTFR by Crazy D with my special guest host, my sister, Tanya M. Congress. Let's check this out. Let's see how the sound is going this morning. How's your morning going?
Pretty good, despite very little sleep. Good morning, listening audience. It's great to be back with you today. We had some attacks on our system yesterday, and it just makes me laugh because that lets me know exactly that we're in the right vein. We're on the right course with the information that we're giving you. And I'm excited today. I'm excited to be back. Today I have some different fruit. Well, I have my apple, but today I have watermelon. I have watermelon, and I have, of course, my ginger, and I have my high-powered tea with hibiscus flower and hawthorn berries, and I put a little stevia in it. But yeah, I'm ready to go this morning because I got some things on my mind against the attacker of our show.
So let me bring this in. I don't know why I'm having a out of focus moment. Let me bring myself. There we go. We're back in focus. Okay, people, listen. First of all, we want to shout out to our listener from our show on Monday, Patrick Hector, who let us know about the 500,000 Indian immigrants. And we're going to be getting to that today. So make sure that you smash the share button, smash the like button. The chat is open on YouTube. The chat is open on other formats. Make sure that you, first of all, let's shout out to Periscope, Vimeo, and the Film Review Live channel on YouTube. The Film Review Live channel on YouTube. Make sure you go there right now. Smash the share button, the like button, and smash the subscribe button. We want to see like 20 or 30 new subscribers right now in this block of time of what we are doing right here on hashtag ObservationTFR. So what is the show today? You know, we were interrupted yesterday. There was a power surge, and when I brought the system back up, the whole layout that you see here today was just presto changeo, gone. Just totally disappeared. And I said, well, I'm going to have to rebuild it, but it's not going to be during the time that we would usually do the show. So no worries. First of all, 213-943-3358. This is a double show today. Episode 55 and 56. So yesterday we had the technical difficulties, but no worries. It's back up, and I even designed it even better than before. We have a border around my sister now. How about that? It looks shiny. Yeah, you know how we do. Okay. So, Wednesday show. Mandatory mask. Shut down deaths. Fox in the Hen House 2. Observations, episode 55-56. Who's ready to go back to mandatory shutdowns? Who's ready to quarantine again to beat COVID-19 like European countries have to no success? Can you survive another shutdown with Fed government in deadlock? 213-943-3358. We're going to open up the phone lines, and the chat is open on the Film Review Live channel on YouTube on this episode, right? Just go there. You'll see us playing right there. You click it, and you'll be able to comment. Okay. The topics are on the move, as usual, on Observations TFR. Watching American blacks congregate and party like it's 1999 during COVID-19, watching the protests during the summer, and the celebration of new elected quote-unquote leadership. I ask leadership. But anyway, leadership. I ask. That was a Freudian slip there, I think.
Yeah,
I ask.
that was good, though.
Are we ready to be restricted again? Are we ready to lose jobs due to businesses going out of business due to another quarantine? Are we as American blacks truly financially ready to feed our families when the mandatory shutdowns happen? What will we say when the police blow down like in NYC this previous summer, nationwide, choke holding blacks without masks while passing out masks courteously to non-blacks? Let's discuss. The phone lines are open. 213-943. 213-943-3358. Okay, so let's get this started because we have a jam-packed show, because this is a double show within 2 hours, so we got to really get it going. So on Monday's show, we talked about the plan. We did number one of the plan. Pedal to the metal. Succeed during Biden-Harris. Make your children, great-grandchildren, great-grandchildren, get them into the best schools, best charter schools, best school choice, best schools that money can buy so they can be educated, right? So that they can excel and ascend to the highest offices in the land. Anything else under Biden-Harris is going to be a disaster. It's going to be disastrously failure-filled if you are not about doing that with your children, right? That also includes not landing in jail, prison, being incarcerated, using drugs, drinking alcohol, anything less is a failure. So that is number one plan, right? That's the number one plan. Healing. We talked about healing. So number one on the plan, and we talked about number one of healing. Know what meritorious manumission is to eliminate it from your psyche to begin the healing, right? Let's see. That's it. We can move forward now. All right. So let's start with some memes this morning. Smash the share button, smash the like button, because we are going there. Okay. Have you been seeing the news? Have you been seeing the news? This meme right here was pretty interesting. I thought it was pretty comical. The worst combination ever, if you know what I mean. The worst combination ever, if you know what I mean. We're going to start out light, but we're going to get ready to hit it. So smash the share button, smash the like button. You see, when you wear your glasses, sometimes if you don't adjust, for those who wear glasses, you know this. If you don't adjust the mask just right, you're going to have that condensation and you're going to have foggy eye like you came in from the outside in the wintertime. And you're not going to be able to see anything as you're breathing. And the condensation makes hot air and cool air together, makes a type of fog on your lens. That's right. Let's keep going here. All right. Next meme here. People who lack communication skills believe every disagreement is an argument. People who lack communication skills believe every disagreement is an argument. Listen. What's going on to Craig Baxter? I see you in this morning. Of course, Tracy Latrice, our producer, and Tanya M. Congress, you know, she's chiming in on the chime in, right? Look. People who lack communication skills believe every disagreement is an argument, and that is not so. You can disagree, you can agree to disagree, and still be on good terms with people, and that's what we have to learn as a group of people to move forward, because it is not necessary to be in meritorious manumission going against your brother or sister because you disagree on political terms. Anything else would make you, well, we talked about that on Monday. You have to go back to the Monday show, episode 54. All right, here we go. Next meme. Never ignore a person who cares for you, because someday you'll realize you've lost a diamond while you were busy collecting stones. Let's say this again. Never ignore a person who cares for you, because someday you'll realize you've lost a diamond while you were busy collecting stones. That's right. So a lot of people are collecting stones in their crown instead of jewels in their crown. But let's keep moving. We have to move through these. Okay. Here we go. Now, somewhat putting the rubber to the road. 213-943-3358. The chat line is over. Smash that like button. Smash that share button. Tag your people in this. Let them know that we are on TFR, Observations TFR. Okay, we are on. You think it's a coincidence that this vaccine news came out right after the election? Now, for those who were not paying attention, you were not paying attention because you were in the echo chamber, you were in the incantation, you let the incantation affect you. The vaccine was to be ready just before the election, but certain people at certain pharmaceutical companies got involved in the politics, right? They got involved in the politics. Now, this was exactly what a certain person, who a lot of you don't like, if you had listened to the briefings on coronavirus, COVID-19, you would have heard that it was coming around this time. It would be before or just after the election. Question is, are you going to take the vaccine? Are you trusting it more because now it's under a Democrat? I'm going to be nice. Remember, we're slowing down because people have to get the grasp of the concept that we are putting across. All right. They say true friends go long periods of time. They're trying to clip us for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why they're trying to clip us. But anyway, they say true friends go long periods of time without speaking and never question the friendship. Repost if you have at least one of these types of friends. I would say I do, so that's why we posted it. Do you have a friend like that, Tanya? Do you have a friend like that you can speak to long periods of time as if you're on the same page when you speak again? Never miss the beat?
I do. And you want to know what's interesting about it is that they're all the ones my mother liked. They're all the ones my mother liked. I can see one of my friends, Lisa Garth. I could see her. I could not see her in years. Things have transpired in our lives, and we ran into each other in the grocery store actually recently and stood there nearly an hour talking and made sure we was updated on the numbers, though we've chatted, and sparingly on Facebook. But, I can count maybe 5. Now, we may not all be of the same agreement on everything, but as far as our friendship and our care for one another, that hasn't changed. And they're all the ones my mother liked. All the ones she liked, all the ones she said she had confidence in, and they were my friends since I was a child. And I think since then, I may have adapted maybe 2 more friends in life that could be on the level with them. And that's, now you're talking about 54 years of life here. So those first friends were between the ages of maybe 7 and 15. And so from 15 all the way up to now, I might have acquired 2 more than my mother probably would have liked. But anybody that's questionable,
Friends are hard to come by. Enemies not so hard to come by. But anyway, okay, let's move on. Imagine being so dumb that you think the guy in office for 4 years is the problem and the guy in office for 47 years is the solution. Imagine being so dumb that you think the guy in office for 4 years is the problem and the guy in office for 47 years is the solution. That was an interesting meme, an interesting perspective. So I decided to put that up, and we go to the next thing. This is very important. This is what we talked about in episode 1 on Monday. And this meme is very important because remember this meme that just was up here right here. Now listen to this. This is very important. Good things come to those who wait. Nope. Good things come to those who hustle. If you got hustle, if you're out there, if you're not hustling, Hustling, but you have hustle, Hustle. Good things come to those who hustle. You are not going to get anything in this game, because it is a game, but it's serious business. You're not going to get anything in this administration because we have the definitive proof that what we were talking about their immigration stance and their immigrant stance on the Joe Biden Vision website. We talked about that. You need to go back to the previous episodes where we broke down his website. There is definitive proof that your job is on the line, American black man, American black woman, American black child. When you turn 15, 16, get your permit, get your work permit at 15, and so you can work at 15 and then 16 and on. Your job is on the line. Smash the share button, smash the like button, and you're set to get in more debt, and the shutdown is coming. Smash the like button, smash the share button, tag your people in this, because we are taking a journey today. Information that you need to know, but we are pulling back. We're not going to too much, because people have to get it now. They have to get it. They didn't quite get it. But here's something. You didn't help. I know Ohio American blacks didn't help, because Ohio went beet red. It went bloody red. It was bloody shoes. Bloody shoes. Right? It went bloody shoes. It went red. It went red. It was like y'all thought it was Obama. I looked at that. I said, that's not an Obama number. I have pictures of Obama numbers. But anyway, let's move forward. Now, who should get their dinner first? This is very pivotal to what we're talking. Very pivotal to what we're talking today. Who should get their dinner first? Husband or kids? Who should get the dinner first, Tiny?
You know, I've seen this being debated on it before, on social media before, and I think that's up to the family and how they want to do it now. People, you know, so you have a set of women that says, you know, my kids come first, my kids, and then you have the husband that says, well, I should get served first. I think it's a petty, stupid argument. And I think that it's up to the families and what they decide. There are some things that are traditional, but we understand about traditions. Traditions are man-made and they're preferential. So, you know, I mean, it's up to the family. I mean, to be on here, I've seen it. I've seen heated debates about, you know, then it turned into the brothers calling women bitter and all kinds of stuff. It's just ridiculous. It's up to the family. It's up to that husband and wife. That's it. And if you got people that are mature and non-petty that are married, this isn't even an issue.
We can't even get a monolith. We can't even get a monolith on who should get the big piece of chicken first. Used to be back in the day that there was no father in the house and the preacher came. The preacher got the big piece of chicken. And at least the father and the pastor or the preacher got the big piece of chicken. They got dual big pieces of chicken, and then the kids ate last. Could this be a derivative of the crack, the Ready Rock epidemic? It could be. No monolith there. Dang, American black man, you've got to step your game up. You're really going to have to step your game up when those 500,000, we're going to get there. Smash the share button, smash the like button. All right, here we go. From Dr. Boyce, Watkins. It's fascinating how Joe Biden was able to regain favor with so many black people after what he did to us. It's almost like letting an older version of R. Kelly coach your daughter's basketball team because you truly believe he's changed. Now, if you're not pushing for R. Kelly to get out of prison just on bail due to COVID, but go back to episode on Monday where we break down the self-hatred factor. Okay, so now look. This one came in and I thought this was interesting, so I kept the name in there. Albert Calvin III in ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery group, right? And he says this: black folks heading back to sleep in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dun, 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 dun. But anyway, black folks heading back to sleep in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, no liftoff. Oh, wow. That's something else, right? That's something else, that you can forgive, but you don't forgive your own, but then you're ready to go back to sleep. You're ready to go back to sleep, right? Smash the like button. Now, this is a cross-section of what was happening in the news cycle in between now, Wednesday, and Tuesday. This is a cross-section of what was happening. What was happening? Well, Giuliani was pitching a B. He was pitching a B. He said Trump lawsuits so far, and this is how Wall Street Journal writes this up. Trump lawsuits so far are limited in scope, unlikely to change outcome even if successful. Oh, they're just saying it won't change. Now, so flip over. Heading into the very worst, U.S. nears 10 million coronavirus cases. 10 million coronavirus cases. Now, you go down to stat. COVID-19 vaccine from Pfizer and BioNTech is strongly effective. Early data indicates. I have a question for you. Who owns that? Who is the CEO of that BioNTech company? Tiny, just what nationality would you think he is before you get his name? What nationality? What race? Well, not race, but what nationality would you think he is?
Okay, I typed this in, but I didn't hit enter because I'm going to answer. I think Indian.
Ding, 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 ding. You are 100% correct. The writing is on the wall for you, American black people. But you're going to think because, oh yeah, by the way, there was a tropical storm brewing too. Within the stories, a little cross section of what was happening. You think because they have melanin, they're just like you. Well. Smash the share button, smash the like button. We are taking you on a journey. We want to see at least 4 or 5 people in here. We want to see some comments, see what you got to say to this. Now, where the rubber begins to hit the road. Remember we talked in episode 42, African Love Traders. Remember in African Love Traders, episode 42, we talked about you have to get into trading commodities that come from out of Africa, because everybody else is trading on your love. You've just got love, but you're not trading in the international commodities that come from out of the continent of Africa. Go back to episode 42. And we also talked about in episode 52, descendants future, your descendants futures, right? That's episode 52, descendants futures, where you have to begin to trade on the stock market in things that you use, right? And you might even begin to trade and buy stock in companies that have traditionally been companies that have caused your people harm, right? Because they're always going to remain on top because they constantly cause your people harm. So you have to begin to shift your thought process and get there. So now, here is a perfect example of what we're talking about, because we're moving the brain trust forward. You cannot be in a 19th century thought when we should be in a 23rd century mind state. Now, on Monday, Dow futures jumped 1,400 points as Pfizer BioNTech say COVID-19 vaccine is 90% effective. Now remember the meme earlier we said, how much did this have to do with the election? They held this back. This guy at the BioNTech is an Indian. What is, come on, we got to put the pieces together. What is Biden and Kamala, who is an Indian, doing, right? And why that would be held back. We have to start to connect the dots, right? So, people, you should have stock in Pfizer, because you're going to take the vaccine because you're a good American black citizen who thinks that you're a person. But you're going to take that vaccine, so you might as well invest in that which would potentially be your demise, so that someone who is able to survive the chemical concoction within the vaccine within your family can take over your portfolio, and you will have left something behind and not have died in vain. We have to begin to think like this, because you have the mandatory mask. Biden is talking about the mandatory mask and what happens when they begin to blow down like they did in New York, choke holding and knee holding people's throats who don't have masks, but giving out masks to the Caucasians, the non-blacks, so courteously, right? So you have to begin to invest. Matter of fact, anyone who has invested in the plain surgical mask, PPE, PPO, your stock prices should have just shot up. You should have, your portfolio should be running well, man. You have to begin to think in that aspect, right? And here's another thing. This is very important. This comes from Boyce Watkins, but I was on it when I heard about Pfizer, right? So look, Pfizer and Royal Caribbean ships, you know, like the people who do the vacation, you're on the ship, you could have COVID, could not. Their stock prices have went up. You should have stock in Pfizer. Just observation, just looking. We're not experts on the stock market, but you should begin to buy, sell, and trade in what you enjoy. If it causes you to have high blood pressure, you should have stock in it. If it causes you to have high blood pressure, you should have stock in it. If you eat as something every single day, whatever it is, and its potential to kill you in 30 years, you will have a portfolio that you can pass down in a trust to your family, and you won't have to worry about people standing out there on the corner saying, can you give me a few dollars to bury this guy that was of able body until the sugar or the high blood pressure got him or her. So people, you have to go back and watch episodes 42 and episodes 52 and mark this one down, 55 and 56, because we are breaking down some stocks. This is part of winning. You have to be the next step. The next step in the plan is to be on the stock market. You have to be on the stock market right now, because once the shutdown happens, you need to have your money on there already, because once the shutdown happens, a lot of people are going to be out of work, and you're going to need your money to be working for you. You're going to need your money to be working for you. And so you need to have some Pfizer and some Royal Caribbean cruise line, because you may not be able to afford the cruise, but you could be getting some money for those who can afford the cruise, right? And Pfizer, being that you're going to be injected with this concoction, you might as well have it in your portfolio, right? Let's keep moving. Smash the share button, smash the like button. Oh, we are on a different thought process than most talk ever. Now, this was the big news on Monday. And so this is the Tuesday, Wednesday show, because, you know, there was a power surge, and we told you all that. But this is the big news. And being that we actually use one of these products, and you probably use one of these products every single day, because people aren't necessarily cooking. McDonald's to test McPlant, which includes its own meat-free burger next year. Beyond Meat shares fall. So the Beyond Meat shares are falling, but they are expanding. And do you know where they are expanding? They are expanding and opening up factories in China. Right? So let's put this together. They are opening up factories in China. Or let me not be so presumptuous. They are opening up a factory in China. They are expanding from the United States. Now, who was about America first and people staying here and opening up their factories here? But as soon as it seems like the election is going towards the other guy that's about open global everything, and no one really in the United States actually working because all the factories are going overseas. Well, Beyond Meat is opening up a factory in China. But no worries. Your demise can be your gain, because you eat at McDonald's possibly every day. You should have stock in McDonald's. If your big toe or your whole foot has to be cut off and you get a peg leg or you get a prosthetic from eating every day, I'm not going to say that. There's no guarantee that that's going to happen. That's just observation, right? You should have stock in what is causing your demise. Now, Beyond Meat has no soy. Soy is a cancer causing soybean is from tests. Now, like I said, there's no absolutes. This is just observations or opinions just from reading. That soybean causes cancer because soybean was not actually created to be something to be edible. It was actually supposed to be used to be created to create lubricant in engines. Something like that. You go research it and you'll figure it out for yourself. But it tasted so good. And does it taste kind of greasy when you eat it? Woo. But anyway, Beyond Meat has no soy. It is a great tasting product. And there's a picture of what the product is going to look like. So you should have stock in Beyond Meat. Because while they're going overseas and taking the jobs overseas, as the Chinese are working there and the stock goes up, you're not working, but your money could be working for you. We have to begin to rearrange our thinking and think globally and get on the stock market. We gave you 2 shows, episodes 42, episode 52, and now episode 55, 56, right? So that's the big information for today. Now, speaking on what we were speaking on Monday and expanding the list of black males murdered at the hands of police officers. Smash the share button, smash the like button. We are taking you places. Tag your people, leave your comments. We are taking you places. Now, on Monday, we began with Eric Garner, but I said there was Eric Garner, but there were people before and after. Now, most famously, Oscar Grant III, Oakland, California, on the 1st of January 2009. It's like a few days, about a week and a half before President Obama was sworn into being the President of the United States. Oscar Grant was shot in his back while down and subdued. Democrats ran the municipality. And guess what happened to the police officer? What happened to the police officer?
Oh, he walked.
Yes, he's walked, but you know, since what has happened, right, with George Floyd, the case is being reopened after 10 years. Let's keep moving.
Oh.
Sham Walker, Brooklyn, New York. That was July 11th, 2009. President Obama was sworn in. He was in office. And Brooklyn, NY is, at that time, Democrat. And guess what happened to the police officer who was an undercover police officer? And Sham Walker was known for moving drug dealers off the block, and he told him to move on, and the cop didn't move, and there was a discussion. The people said there was a friendly discussion before the pop happened. 2 pops. Pop, pop. One in the chest. The police said that he hit the guy, which I don't think that would have happened. But either way, they were Democrats. And guess what happened to the police officer?
The Fraternal Order Good Old Boy Network came together, and that police officer walked.
He walked. That's right. So people, what we are trying to inform you to is what was happening just prior and going into President Obama's presidency was American black people, males and females, were dying at the hands of the police, and there was nothing. Now, no resolution, no police put in prison, no nothing. It was a Democrat president, Democrat in most of these municipalities, and guess what absolutely happened? Absolutely nothing. So you should stop partying right now if you thought that it was going to be a party and it was going to be a jamboree, because you don't want to be kind of... Go back to episode 54. We'll lay that out for you. Okay. Now, this is where it really started to start the little snowball that began the big ball of snow that was rolling down the hill at such fast speed, and so many bodies were caught up in this. Henry Louis Gates, Skip Gates, you know, he's the one that they swab the mouth and they go back and give the lineage of the people. He was arrested in Cambridge, Massachusetts, arrested at his Harvard home. He's a Harvard professor then. Arrested at his home by Sergeant James Crawley. Do you remember that? That was July 16, 2009. Now remember, Sham Walker had just died 5 days before. Nothing. Henry Louis Gates was arrested because someone called and said they saw a prowler. Henry Louis Gates, this is his house. He has been living there. But he had come back from a trip and he had left his keys for some reason. So once they were inside, the cop asked him, do you have ID? And et cetera, et cetera. You can go back and read that story. So now, Obama remarks on the 22nd of July. This is when Obama thought everything was cool. 09. He says, the Cambridge police acted stupidly. Right? Now, before that, he had prefaced it with, many of us would have been angry, especially being highly decorated professors, etc., 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 etc. Then he said, and the Cambridge police acted stupidly. Oh my God, why did Obama say that? They came down and they put, do you remember this? They put Obama in his place so much that he had to have the beer summit. It was him, it was Joe, it was cops, including Sergeant James Crawley from the Cambridge police, and they sat there along with Henry Louis Gates at the White House having a beer summit, eating peanuts from out of bowls, talking about race. That was on July 30th, 2009. After that, people, the floodgates opened, right? So now, you have an American black, well, no, excuse me, let me rephrase. He almost got me with the incantation. They almost got me. You had a black man in office. You had a black man in office. And you know what people say? Well, he really couldn't do anything because they had his hands tied because he was a black man, and he was able to sign executive orders for this, that, such and a third, but nothing for American black people, and didn't think favorably of reparations for American black people. Why? Because he was not American black. So the snowball, the little ball, began to roll down the hill and started to pick up inertia and started to pick up kinetic energy, and it started picking up and making a bigger ball, and a lot of bodies were caught up in this. Victor Stein, Pensacola, Florida. Now, Pensacola, Florida, arguably Republican, happened on October 3rd, 2009. He was at a friend's house, and the police said he didn't comply. The two didn't comply, and somehow he wound up shot dead, talking about he did not comply. Pensacola, Florida. And what happened to the police officers? We've got a black man in office, President Obama. Shouldn't they be honoring that feat of almost American blackhood? But what happened to the police officers?
They walked.
They walked. It was an accident. It was ruled an accidental homicide. All right. Okay. So yes. So that was Republican. But do you see what it is, people? It doesn't matter if it's Republican, and it's more excuse me. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf. It's more Democrat run municipalities than Republican municipalities, and still, what happens? Kewan Carrington, Champaign County, Illinois, 10/9/2009. Back then, they were coming like back to back, like it was hitting back to back. It was like right after the beer summit, and they said we got that in check. They were coming rapid fire. They were just dropping like right behind each other. Snowball was getting bigger and bigger. Champaign County, Illinois. The municipality is Democrat in 2009, and guess what happened to the police officers who shot him? What do you think happened?
They walked and probably did a little skip down the sidewalk when they were done.
You know, what's funny about the Victor Steen in Pensacola, Florida, was he was riding his bike, and the cop hit him and killed him with the cruiser. I mean, they was just finding all kinds of ways to kill up. Right? Then, you know, of course, we talked about Eric Garner and John Crawford III, etc. But there are still more. And we said during these episodes, fox in the hen house. Let the fox in the hen house too, that we are going to fill in before and after, before Eric Garner and after Philando Castile. We're going to continue on, but we want to make you aware and wake up to that the Nigerians in Nigeria shouldn't have been dancing and singing because Biden was in office, because he's not going to do anything for you. And blacks shouldn't have been out there doing the line dancing, except for you might be ready. You know, I saw your tap shoes, and you might be ready to start tapping, because that might be what you are going to be doing. Now, what's happening in Las Vegas? What's happening in Nevada? Period. Let's bring this up real quick. Now we can all agree, just by watching how elections are usually conducted, that the election was stolen. We can just say that, right? So when I say this, I'm not saying because it's only aspersion on people who actually think that they helped to win the election. What I want to say next. Now, Sisolak is the governor of Nevada. Sisolak is the governor of Nevada. Governor Sisolak wants us to stay home, y'all. He wants us to stay home. Now, Miss Bishop writes, Watching Governor Sisolak now on the news, he is giving us 2 weeks to get our snit together, wear our masks, stay at home, no big gatherings, no people over to your house, social distancing, pick up your food instead of eating inside of restaurants, or he will shut Nevada down again. Our cases are too high. Did you know that the optimism is now gone and everything is dark? Oh, it's dark. We're getting ready to head into the darkest. It's just horrible dark. Whenever someone says dark, I say they've got to be racist or affected by a racist, because you're using the term dark. But isn't it really the accelerationists that are actually helping to spread this? Now, you got to go back to a hashtag TFR podcast live episode to know about the accelerationists. We've been on this from the very beginning, right? This is what's happening in Las Vegas, and it is no doubt that this is going to happen, because you know what? Negroes have been partying like it's 1999. They have been out. I've seen them. There's no real social distancing. They say it's social distancing, but that's cool either way, because they were practicing herd immunity, right? But if you watch other than the echo chamber, you find out that the COVID-19 has mutated at least 2 times already. It is a virus. It is a, should I go short of bioweapon that can reform itself, can mutate itself. And will the vaccine be the right vaccine for this particular strand of this mutating the virus that does not go away when the heat comes? It does not go away when the heat comes. This is what's happening, people, all over. And you're voting for a group of people who are telling you that they are going to do mandatory everything. Everything is going to be mandatory. Mandatory mask, mandatory this, mandatory that. You're going to be mandatory. You're going to be locked down again. Can you, as an American black, afford another lockdown, another shutdown, where the economy is shut down, where businesses are shut down, where you work? Can you afford that, especially when the Senate will still be Republican? It wasn't that landslide that they thought they were going to get. Can you afford to live under a situation where the president doesn't necessarily care to give you a stimulus package? Can you survive it? Are you ready? Are you prepared? Are you watching the news? Are you reading? Are you educating yourself to know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? It is very important to know what time it is. That's why we're slowing back. We're pulling back on. We're bringing information. We always do, but we're pulling back on the pet names that we have for certain people, like Dixiecrat for Democrat. We're pulling back because we want you not to be offended, because you are not really a Democrat just because you vote. You are a Democrat supporter, not a Democrat unless you actually ran for office. Now, we have a video presentation talking about just this. Smash the share button, smash the like button, because this is very informative. If you are not watching various news outlets to get what is happening. Smash the share button, smash the like button, subscribe. Tag your people in this so they can watch this afterwards, because we are bringing this. This is what is happening, and people were practicing herd immunity. There were certain places that people were gathering that they will not be able to gather anymore because it will be a mandatory mask. And what about those people who want mandatory masks? Are you going to wear your mask because you don't believe it? I believe in the mask because I was wearing it when it was desert fever out here in Las Vegas. I was wearing it and I did not get the cough anymore. Right? But it's going to be mandatory masks. That's what they are implementing. And then they're going to implement the mandatory shutdown. The various state governments are going to, it was funny. It was funny. I found that I went through some mail, and because we put our mail in the bag, because how many people really look at mail today, because everything is electronic. So it says, President Trump's Coronavirus Guidelines for America, CDC. Now remember, they claimed that Obama didn't do anything. Well, he didn't, but Trump didn't do anything. Now, if you would watch and had listened, when the governors that were Democrat governors, and even some Republican governors, when Trump said he was going to use the federal government and implement a federal restriction, they all balked and said this would be states' rights and we're going to take you to court. So then he came up with this. Do you remember this? Let me see if it comes into focus or not. Let me see where we are. It says, listen and follow the direction of your state and local authorities. If you feel sick, stay home. Do not go to work. Right? So that's just the first two things, right? But it said, listen to your local officials. So the local officials are claiming that it's going to. Now this is Trump. They said nothing happened. This is a postcard. Did you ever read the postcard, or did you take it and just toss it? And we never saw the postcard. It happened to be on the floor, out the bag, and I picked it up and I said, Trump's Coronavirus Guidelines for America. It was laid out for you, and he left it up to the states, right? He didn't say it's going to be a mandatory mask or a mandatory shutdown or even a mandatory vaccines. And for the life of me, I couldn't understand why people, we didn't have a dog in this fight, right? But because we abstained for a reason. And we're not going to go back over that reason because the election is over. But we couldn't understand how people could vote their worst interests when they were practicing herd immunity. They were actually practicing the Donald J. Trump plan. And now you're going to be locked down. You're going to have to wear a mask when you don't want to wear a mask. What happens if you have your mask off your nose a little bit and the cops blow down on you? But we have this presentation, and we're going to go through it. This is how dire they're getting ready to make this, and there is no optimist in chief. Everything is, we're going into dark days. We're going into the nadir. We're going to be going into the nadir. Do you know what the nadir is? Look up the nadir so you can give them the definition of what the nadir is after we come back from this. It's a dark point. But let's go through this. Let's listen.
More than 10 million Americans have been infected with COVID-19 since this pandemic began, and that includes more than 1 million new cases since the end of October. That is the worst stretch of infection so far in this country. Our lead national correspondent, David Begnaud, is in Detroit with more on the story. David, good morning to you. We know the Midwest is getting hammered by this virus right now.
Sure is. Good morning from the banks of the...
The Midwest is getting hammered. That's Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, North Dakota, South Dakota. 11 Midwest states. They're getting hammered. Ohio, you are in the epicenter. You are the heart of it all. And you were just opening up. I saw people partying like it's 1999. Some people didn't have masks on because you were practicing herd immunity. And I think there's some herd immunity in the black community. Same here in Las Vegas in the black community. They were practicing herd immunity. All of that is going to shut down. All of that is going to stop. But it wouldn't have made a difference because they stole the election because there were more black people that abstained from voting than actually voted. So they found another way. And all those black people partying and happy when they put down these restrictions and those immigrants come. Anyway, let's continue. Get your tap shoes ready. Get your black boot shine ready because you're going to have to put that on your face. Get some red lipstick. Put it out on the outside of your lips and say, I'm ready to dance.
Detroit River, my friend. Listen, nearly half of all the cases in the United States are right here in the Midwest. In fact, in Michigan, their new coronavirus cases, the rate of new cases, has soared 300% in the last 4 weeks. Now listen, it's accelerating around the country, the case count, but it's notable that hospitalizations are at levels we haven't seen since July. Across the U.S., hospitalizations due to coronavirus are close to record highs. Cases are on the rise in 46 states, and experts warn the worst is yet to come. On Sunday, Utah's Republican governor introduced a statewide mask mandate for the very first time, pointing to overcrowding in Utah's hospitals.
They are really at the brink of not being able to take any more people and the overflow mode, particularly in our intensive care units.
In El Paso, Texas, 1 in every 5 coronavirus tests is coming back positive.
COVID is about to change our lives. Everyone's. Not in pockets here and there, but in small towns and big cities across our nation in ways that are frankly hard to process. That's the warning from doctors, scientists, hospital administrators, and everybody involved with treating victims of the virus that's spreading unchecked across large swaths of America.
The same doctors that Trump was fighting against and getting other doctors to say, let's try these prophylactics. Let's try something else in between trying to get the vaccine. But no, these people are like, oh, people are going to die. Now, there's 10 million cases. How many people have died? How many people have been cured? They never tell you how many people have been cured because that would begin the herd immunity. If 10 million people have died, but 240,000, 10 million have contracted it, but only 240 million died. Are all the rest of that subtracted? Are they the ones who are cured? We have to keep asking these questions because they're leaving one data point out. How many people have been cured from COVID-19? And if they're cured from it, are they truly immune, or is this something that is mutating, like has been said in other reports, it has mutated twice already? And how are you supposed to combat that? You just gonna be in faith? Do you have faith that God is with you? What is the definition of nadir? What is the definition of nadir?
Nadir is the lowest point in the fortunes of a person or organization. Used in a sentence, they had reached the nadir of their sufferings. So they were suffering and they reached the lowest point of suffering.
There we go. Right. So people, do you believe? You believe, a lot of people believe, they say, hey, I'm a good, whatever religion you are, in whatever religion, but let's just take Christianity. Tanya, if you would look up Daniel chapter 12, prophecy of the end time. Right? Daniel chapter 12, prophecy of the end time. And if you could find one that's just written in regular English and not these and thous, because you're going to read this boy real quick. It's only 1st through 11, verse 12, 11. So people who have your good books around, we're talking about the abomination of desolation, right? Prophecy of the end time, chapter 12, Daniel. Do you have it?
I do.
Okay. So we're going to read, because it's only from verses 1 through 11. Let's go ahead and read that for the people. Like you have to really understand and get a concept and have a view of what's really going on. Some people say, oh, God is going to see me through. Well, God has already given you a prophecy through one of his prophets to tell you that you're going to have to put some work in. You're going to have to put some work in to save yourself. So go ahead and read this.
Okay, and I chose the Amplified Version, and what the Amplified Version has done, as it is taken the King James, put it in modern English, and expanded the words out, having done the research from the Strong's Concordance. So I use this Bible when I don't feel like going and digging the Strong's Concordance. So Daniel chapter 12, verse 1. Now at the end time, Michael, the great angelic prince who stands guard over the children of your people, will arise, and there will be a time of distress such as never occurred since there was a nation until that time. But at that time, your people, everyone who is found written in the book of life, will be rescued. Many of those who sleep in the dust of the ground will awake or resurrect, these to everlasting life, but some to disgrace and everlasting contempt or abhorrence. Those who are spiritually wise will shine brightly like the brightness of the expanse of heaven, and those who lead many to righteousness will shine like the stars forever and ever. But as for you, Daniel, conceal these words and seal up the scroll until the end of time. Many will go back and forth and search anxiously through the scroll, and knowledge of the people or of the purpose of God as revealed by his prophets will greatly increase. Verse 5, then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood two others, the one angel on his bank of the river, and the other angel on his bank of the river. And one said to the man dressed in linen, who was above the waters of the river, how long will it be until the end of these wonders? Verse 7, and I heard the man dressed in linen, who was above the waters of the river, as he held up his right hand and his left hand toward heaven, and swore by him who lives forever that it would be for a time, times and a half a time, 3.5 years, as soon as they finish shattering and crushing the power of the holy people, all these things will be finished. As for me, I heard, but I did not understand. So I said, my Lord, what will be the outcome of these things? Verse 9, and the angel said, go your way, Daniel, for the words are concealed and sealed up until the end of time. Verse 10, many will be purged, purified, and refined, but the wicked will behave wickedly. None of the wicked shall understand, but those who are spiritually wise will understand. Verse 11, from the time that the regular sacrifice, that is the daily burnt offering, is taken away, and the abomination of desolation is set up, ruining the temple for worship of the true God, there will be 1,290 days.
All right, people. So that roughly translates into 3 years and 7 months of this plague. How many of you believed foolishly, like people believed foolishly that Donald Trump was going to be out in 6 months? He was going to be out in years, about a year and a half. They were going to get him. They were going to get him. They were going to get him. How many of you? Well, let me retract that. How many of you had naivete that would happen? How many of you are naive to the fact that this virus is going on for quite a long time? There is a time to prepare you to be, I'm going to use just layman terms, be as correct as you possibly can. This is a time for you to sit and reflect. It is something that has gotten you in a bind. It has you in bondage. You are not used to being so confined, not able to go where you want to go. And this, if you believe that it's a scientific plot, if you believe that it's 5G, if you believe that it was man-made or it's something that came from God, it is here and it is moving through the pattern of the abomination of desolation. It's moving in that framework. And we told you way back on hashtag TFR Podcast Live that because there's in the southern hemisphere, when it's summertime there, it's winter for us. When it's summertime in the northern hemisphere, it's wintertime in the southern hemisphere. So that's why they can know when how the flu strain is going to run, because they can see what's happening in the southern hemisphere when we have summer. And people are flying in. That's why some people have summer colds, because it is still going on. And that's why the virus has not been able to be stopped, because we're acting foolish. In the southern hemisphere, when it's wintertime, they're acting foolish. And they're traveling in, and it's continued traveling instead of settling down and settling yourself down. But however, the people who are in power did not set it up for you to be able to sit. They did not set it up for you to be able to sit, so you have to get out there and do. But when they do mandatory, you won't be able to do. Will you be able to survive a mandatory shutdown? It's all in who you voted for, or who you thought you voted for, because the election was stolen. But you're out there partying and you're happy. So we're just trying to bring reality to you that who you thought you voted for, who you thought you helped to win, is about mandatory shutdown. You're not going to be able to go freely to and fro even to the store. What you got to say to that?
You know, this whole thing with, like, last year, the greater part of last year, I think I began in about February telling people, actually it was before that, but I really started pushing it at around February of last year, when I was telling people, I said that we need to get our immune system boosted. And not just like a regular boost where it's normal. We need to have our immune systems in overdrive. I was doing broadcasts about doing your research on YouTube about if you have pre-existing conditions, because I dealt with pre-existing conditions. I said, you can heal those naturally. You know, you don't have to take the medications. I'm not a doctor. I suggest that you wean yourself off of things and then continue to go to your doctor's appointments and continue to have them test you, do blood work and stuff to see if the things that you are trying are being effective. You don't have to tell them you're doing them. Just do them and balance things out and see if they're being effective, and you'll know. You can use the hospital as your testing ground, right? I was telling people, build your immune system. Something is coming. Now, I was also strong on the 5G thing, and I said, this 5G is so much connected to that. And it's been since then, it's been reported that the 5G radiation does, if there's any kind of sickness or illness going on, it helps to push that forward. So they're putting that in neighborhoods. I did not have this piece. I did not have a coming virus, but one prophet does not have all of it. That's why the gifts work together. We are fitly joined together, right? So I did not have this about this virus. That was a blind side. But I had 5G, and we needed to build our immune system. Now, when I contracted that, I had it during the time of my father's being sick with it and passing from it. I spent a lot of time with him in his room when they allowed me in there towards the end. And right during that 3.5 hours, I started, you go back and look at the broadcast, because we broadcasted it live. I started coughing. I started exhibiting the signs, and there's a lot of things I did not mention. I had the shortness of breath. I had and for most people it would have been kind of scary, but because I know that I'm here for a specific purpose and that my voice has been slated here and it's needed here in the earth at that time, I know that there was nothing going to take me out at that time. Other than that, that would have been scary. I had a shortness of breath. I had loss of smell. I had all of it. And I'm like, the less people that I speak that to, the less people will be worried and speaking the wrong things out their mouth. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. So I kept that to myself. And between my brother and my sister-in-law telling me some things to get and me getting those things, so you got to learn to listen. You got to learn to hear. It's like, I went and spent, it is something called a navage that goes up your nose and flushes out all of your nasal and the ear, nose, and throat thing. I got a breather thing that was menthol in there, Vicks, and I was breathing over that. I got zinc. I got magnesium. I got all the things they told me to get, plus all the stuff I already had. And I beat the crap out of COVID. You understand? But had my immune system not already been boosted, then it may have worked out a different way, or it may have been more difficult to overcome it because my immune system wasn't boosted. My diet was not right. So I was fortunate in that, but I was trying to tell people, you guys are going to have to, it's too much now. You're going to have to learn how to listen. The Bible says, believe his prophets and so shall you prosper. It doesn't matter. Listen, prophets don't have no look. They're not coming in with robes and suits and rings and mics and all of that. One might be they look like a bum on the street. And they speaking right out of the Spirit of God. You better learn how to hear by the Spirit, but you got to have his Spirit to hear his Spirit. You got to be able to listen, because right now it's going to take the navigational skill of the Spirit of God to get us through these things. And if you're not going to listen, you come on here, we mentioning Trump in a favorable light, you cut out the broadcast. If we mention Biden in a negative light, you cutting off the broadcast. Don't want to listen. All this rich information that could save your life. I mean,
go ahead.
I mean, what's it going to be? What is it going to be, people? I mean, because if we already said that the election has been stolen, and I said it didn't really matter. It didn't. I would have preferred, I will be honest with you, if I had voted, because we ain't talking reparations between the two of them. So I didn't. But had it would have been for Trump. I don't mind saying that. It would have been for Trump because of what I researched, because of what he's done. But you're going to go, and then this person here, the other one, I told you I was going to have a bag of popcorn, a big bowl of popcorn. Every night I was going to have to increase my carb blockers so that I didn't get bloated stomach from the popcorn. Watching y'all's clown show. I mean, and don't get it twisted. Your opinion is your opinion. What you did is what you did, but you did it from the wrong perspective and without researching, and it's going to cost you.
Yeah, it's going to cost. You know how it's going to cost? Because we're already at a breaking point with COVID, right? And if you don't believe that those remedies work, shout out to Pharaoh Said That. We had him on our show back in episode 108 episode of #TFR Podcast Live, where he broke that down. He told us about the zinc. He told us about that. And we have used it, and my sister is a testimony of it. Because we were there, and I was there and on video. I said, man, I think it's time for you to leave because I hear you coughing. And then we headed right to it. She didn't ever tell us about that either. But we just said, get the Navage, get this, clean out, to be able to clean out, just using common sense of what we do. Every time we come in from on the outside of doing an excursion, going shopping, because we're in a bubble still. We didn't break the bubble when we're still in a bubble. We go out, we do what we do, and we come back, right? But we do that every time. We gargle, we do all that. So we're at the breaking point, and the numbers are going up in COVID, and no one knows why they're going up. Except for this is the abomination of desolation. And speaking of being in an abomination, being in a nadir, Biden administration likely to provide U.S. citizenship to over 500,000 Indians from India. And we told you that.
We told you.
This came out November 8th. Wait a minute. You don't believe. Oh, no. That's just one little thing. That was the report off TV. That don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing. Okay, how about this right here? How about every news outlet is covering the same thing? Biden administration likely to provide U.S. citizenship to over 500,000 Indians from India. Not Native Americans, because they already have their reservations. Not Native Americans. Wait a minute. You say, no, D, that can't be true. And we have to shout out to Patrick Hector, because on Monday's show he had said he had conflated it with Kamala, because that's why he picked her, because she's done that program before. You have to see why people pick people, while you're saying that she's black. But she said, I'm not going to just do anything for black people, but she did it for the Indians in the tech area. Have you ever experienced Indian racism? Okay, here we go, people. Here's another. U.S. citizenship to over 500,000 Indians. Joe Biden administration likely to provide U.S. citizenship to over 500,000 Indians. We are supposed to be putting the pedal to the metal. We said that already, to make sure that it is the best outcome for American blacks. That's on livemint.com. I'm giving you where these articles are. Oh, you still don't believe. I mean, oh, it's a high. Wait a minute. Maybe you will believe it from here, because they are so happy. They are so happy that they are reporting it in India.com. Not India Irie, but India.com. U.S. President-elect Joe Biden to provide American citizenship to over I don't know what that word is, Indians, but that means 500,000 Indians. Likely to raise H-1B visa limit. They're coming for your jobs, baby. They're coming for your jobs. What you got to say?
Not only that, in our hospitals for some years now, it has to have been over 20 years now, more and more you see Indians from India working there. Now, I want to preface what I'm going to say with, speaking truths about observations is not a racist thing. But you have to listen. If you're going to stand there and act like things don't exist and just let it float over your head, then something's wrong. You probably need to go seek some counsel or something like that, because something is wrong. Now, I've noticed the arrogance of the doctors in the hospitals that I've encountered that were Indian. I've noticed that. You know what I mean? They have this arrogance and this pomp. I'm not saying all of them do. It's not a blanket statement, but many of them do. And they have, excuse me, y'all. They have this blanket statement. I mean, I'm not making a blanket statement. They have this arrogance and this pompousness towards giving you your care. Like, well, of course. We're at the hospital. In fact, when my father, when I took the living will up to the hospital when he was passing away, they had called me. I had received calls back to back that morning about, we would like to try this because of his kidneys. We'd like to try this. We'd like to try this, and we'd like to try this. So I'm thinking to myself, he's on a ventilator. And you want to try all this different stuff. You put him on the ventilator because you didn't expect him to recover. You put him there so that you can continue your experiment. And that was one thing my mother and father were in forethought about. They didn't want to be anybody's experiment. So they put it in their living will that they didn't want to, if it came down to something like that, just to go ahead on and pull it. Right. So that's what we had to do. We honored their wishes. But it was the arrogance, and it was the funniest thing that when I went there and I showed them that, they were like, well, do you have the document, the living will? Here you go. He looked at it, and they were forlorn, not offering me, I'm sorry that you're having to make this decision. I know it's a hard decision. My condolences to you and your family. None of that. Just, it was like they had been stopped and thwarted midstream in something else they had plans for. It was something else they had plans for, which was evident once I got in there and seen an unsterilized bed table, blood droppings on the floor of I don't know who it is. I don't know if it had been the person that was in the room before that, dry blood on the floor, whether it was my father's, whether it was somebody that cut themselves doing something, blood on the floor, but nobody had the decency to clean it up right after it happened. But anyway, these in the hospitals, Black people. And we're mentioning this in relation to Black people because we are the ones that's going to suffer the loss. So the loss of jobs while we're up and healthy, and God forbid we become unhealthy and we get in the hospitals and we're at their mercy as well. So now, what do you think? Do you think this was planned? Do you think this has been a long-term plan to kind of slide this in? Do you believe that? Because you should to name a number like 500,000, you should know that was pre-planned. That was an agenda all along. And did you know we called this, and several other people called this, that Corona was going to pick back up around election time. We said that. Many of us said that because they want to point everything to Trump. They want to point everything to him. He's the cause of everything. He's the cause of global warming. He's the cause of high crime rates. He's the cause of whoever broke in your house. He's the cause of everything. He's just the cause. So it was timed perfectly that this virus would come back and avenge us, because I think most of it's in the air. It's in the air. They spraying stuff in the air. They've been doing that. Prince tried to tell you that. Dick Gregory tried to tell you that. It's in the air. So this is how that's how they drop mass stuff. It's in the air, flying over. You cover more ground in a short amount of time. It's in the air. And so you have to pay attention. We're telling you this stuff, and we're telling you ahead of time. After we tell you, then weeks later, here it is. And you would have had time to kind of shield yourself. So you better be paying attention. We told you to get your money together. We told you to start investing in stocks. We told you what to do. Now, if you're looking up and quarantined in the house, you can't go out to the store and you don't have no money, your credit cards are maxed out, and you don't have no money. You can't go to work. Unemployment is at an all-time high, so them paying the payouts for unemployment, because Biden is in there now. Trump is not going to add the extra money onto he's not going to add the extra money onto the unemployment like Trump did. He's not going to give you a stimulus like Trump did. So you're going to be a sitting duck up in there. And if you haven't learned how to be resourceful in what you eat, that's why I see y'all are laughing at me. People would laugh at me when I said when it rains, I went and did an experiment on myself, and I collected rainwater and I drank it, and it was delicious. It was wonderful. I felt good. And I'm now studying and finding out what leaves and what kinds of bushes and trees have edible leaves, because I'm not going to be caught out here. And we're trying to tell you stuff and you're not listening.
Not listening. And on top of that, if Biden does release a stimulus, it's going to be what the Republicans were balking at, which was giving health insurance and payments to illegal immigrants. Let's look at this one. You don't believe Biden plan. We told you to go read the plan to reduce waiting time faced by Indians for work-based green cards. Now, if they're coming to work, who are they coming to take work from? If they're coming to open up businesses, where are the businesses going to be smack dab at, right? Which brings us to this right here. While people are so busy, they're not paying attention. We're just bringing you flashes of mind, of having your mind state and not mindset. Profits are better than wages. Wages make you a living. Profits will make you a fortune. Self-educate and employ. Right? Self-educate and employ. Let's keep moving. We have to move through these. Now, here's another. Now, arguably I saw this. And I saw people who I personally have knowledge of. I want to say that. And they were laughing at this, and I'm thinking to myself, they have children. They work in the type of jobs where the people will come right in and take the job right from off them, and they will train them to do it. If the Dems are being honest, why were poll watchers denied to watch? If the election was won honestly, it wouldn't be a problem with me, but it's not. Right? That's Jay Stevens. I'll give him a shout on that, right? So I kept him in there because that's a good train of thought. It's not about, remember, with others, it's not about Trump or Biden. It is about policies, and the policies that are good for American black people and the policies that are not. So this person puts a meme up using Danny Glover. Oh, him mad Trump lost the election. So I'm sitting up there. First of all, he must be under the delusional thought that black people helped them win the election. But being that they had rigged the election just by the way elections go, and then they use you as the front people, they can say, oh yes, you did that. And then Clyburn says, I don't want anything. I don't want anything. Then black people ain't gonna have nothing. You got to battle these people who have the set-asides that were supposed to be set aside for us, and we will be battling them for education, for jobs, etc., etc., and they will have the set-asides, and we will have nothing. This is from Helen, from If You Can Cook Joint page. What is the moral of this picture? There it is. There's a woman, you know, her breasties is kind of out of her swim top, it appears. And the dude is just so crazy in lust that he just strips all his clothes off. But there is a shark under the water using this cutout and say, This is just like what the Dixies are doing to you. They said they're going to finish the job. If you don't believe, we done showed you what you got while Dixies were, Dixie Crest. I have to turn over my leaf. I have to again say it like I used to say it. If you don't believe that Biden is going to finish his job, then you are sadly mistaken. Okay. This one comes from our brother-in-law, Will, and he asks in this, do you notice what's different? Do you notice what's different? Besides the obvious, we know what the obvious is, but do you notice what's different when you look at the photo? Do you notice what's different?
In here. Oh, they both have masks on the top of their beard.
Right, but right. But the beard of the white man, the mask is up. The black man's mask is down. Did you notice? Did you notice that? I mean, it's a very subtle message. You can't even get away from it during Xmas. During Xmas time. Now, here's one as we go through, because Biden is talking mandatory masks. And it's going to be mandatory shutdown. And it's going to be mandatory vaccine taking. It's not about a virus. It's about control. Now, I've never really agreed with the people who were anti-mask because I believe in the mask, because I know what it did for desert fever. So I've always worn the mask since I've been out here, right? And even when I come back to Cleveland for a visit, I'm still wearing the mask because it's in the atmosphere. It's in the atmosphere, like my sister said. And if you're not protecting yourself, don't worry. You'll learn later, 30 years later. One of the hardest pills I've had to swallow was realizing I meant nothing to people that meant a lot to me. And you know how people sometimes they have that mentality where they say, well, I'm just going to stay friends. That's kind of how black people are to the Dixiecrats. The Democrats. They know that they don't like you, but they're going to stay with you. Matter of fact, they don't like you so much that they have found all the black people who are working in the situations all the black people are immigrants. And you should check that out. And the one woman who wasn't an immigrant, Nina Turner, they kind of moved her to the wayside, right? Because she talks the American black politic. All right. Never agree. This is very important. These are lessons that we are building our plan. Never agree to settle or pay an account in collections. Once it's been sold to collections, it's no longer your account, and it's not going to do anything for you anyway. So never agree to settle or pay an account in collections. Once it's been sold to collections, it's no longer your account. All right. So I mean, these are tidbits and information to inform your mind state and mindset. Now, this is a very important concept, and the person who created this meme, I was like, okay, I like this right here. Okay, wait, so you can spot fake Jordans and designer bags? Wait, you can spot fake Jordans and fake designer bags, but still can't spot the lies you've been told since birth? Or maybe you don't want to recognize them, huh? Let's move through these. It's very important. These memes are very important this morning. And can, for once, here was an immigrant that was pre-1965, the 1965 Immigration Act. This person right here, Marcus Messiah Garvey. Up, ye mighty race, accomplish what you will. Up, you mighty race, accomplish what you will. Can we at least for once be up? Have they taken away our dignity? Have they taken away our steadfastness to one another? Steadfastness to one another? Have they? I think they may have. I think they may have you, because you're up there arguing with one another over a Caucasian. Let's continue on. Another Boyce Watkins. Most of what we get from politicians should be things we can cash in the bank. If it's not tangible, it doesn't matter. Our kids can't eat symbolism for dinner. Most of what we get from politicians should be things we can cash in the bank. If it's not tangible, it doesn't matter. Our kids can't eat symbolism for dinner. Our kids cannot eat symbolism for dinner. You're up here jumping around, dancing and singing. Tighten up your cardiovascular in the middle of COVID, because I think you're going to have to put on your tap shoes. You're going to be tapping for not only the Caucasians, but you're going to be tapping for the new Indian overseer. How you like having an Indian boss over you? Telling you, I don't know what your problem is. I came to this country and it's been nothing but land of milk and honey for me. Huh? Yeah. All y'all thought we was just joking. Now, tell me, Tanya, what is this? What is that right there? What is that?
Is that supposed to be a bird that's kind of deformed, or some other kind of creature?
Interesting. Do you see the antenna? The antenna kind of looks like bee antenna, right? Kind of. I'm just looking at the face of it, right? This is a superimposed, oversized, a million of exposed up. This is a head of an ant. This is a head of an ant. Now, what is very important about ants They're not really that attractive. That's fine. They really look like they could be the buzzards of the insect family. That's fine. But you know what they do? They know how to work together to build their homes, right? And they know how to defend their homes. And they know how to do better with each other naturally, their natural love for one another or community for one another better than American blacks, because we trade off so much. We trade off. Okay. We trade off. We trade off for symbolism more than we trade off like this. Okay. For the women's suffrage movement, this is good. This is good. She's the first woman, but she's not the first woman from lineage. All those people that you see that are president, that are vice presidents, that are Caucasian, they all come from the lineage of white, and some of them are probably immigrants too, right? As we look at how they do, because they step the immigrant over the American black. But here is the first vice president that will assist the American black president in making it, who is a person, I don't want to say a person of color, who will make it possible who will assist in making it possible for the Caucasian president to continue to do, but she will bring her people in while you think that she's your people. How naive are we? How naive are we as a people? And what did you want to say about the ant?
Proverbs 6:6-11. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, nor overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provision in summer and gathers its food at harvest. How long will you lie there, you sluggard? When will you get up from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man.
You see, it's there. I mean, how much more can we say? Oh, people were hardy, hard. They were laughing. They said, oh, no, I believe in people being able to come to America. Yeah, but do you believe in people coming to America and taking your jobs? Taking your kids' opportunity to have great education by being so numerous and being able to multiply the you're out, and then they'll be able to bring their family members over to visit, and some of them will be illegals, but under the Democrats won't care. We got to really look at these situations, right? We got to really look. You got to really begin to care. You have to care. All right, people. So we're coming up to the end of the show, but we do have to say, first of all, take a moment, go to your QR code scanner and scan either the PayPal code, if you have a PayPal account, or if you have a Cash App account, scan the one to the left and drop a few dollars on us and say that you appreciate the program that we bring to you Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, and the Film Review Movies, Music, Culture, Politics, Society podcast, #TFR Podcast Live on Sundays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, to help us continue to bring this programming to you. So use your QR scanner code. You can get one from out of your Apple store or from out of the Google Play store, and it takes you right there, and you're able to drop a few dollars on our account. We appreciate you, and we bring the programming to show you that we appreciate you. And so drop a few dollars on us and show us how you appreciate what we bring. We bring you facts. We bring you information that will save your life in most cases, because you did not know. You did not know this sinister plan that was against you. But due to hashtag ObservationsTFR, that's hashtag ObservationsTFR and hashtag TFR Podcast Live, we bring you the information that will save your life and information that will save you pocket revenue. Right? Now, we have exactly 6 minutes, got 3 minutes to close.
Well, this has been another robust show, and I am prayerful and hopeful that you're able to pay attention. I'm hoping that your spirit is not at ease with what you desire. I'm hoping your spirit is not at ease at what you desire, and that you seek to do further research. This one has been, all of the shows are jam-packed with information, but this one has been really covered some things that you need to, if you're forward thinking, you're paying attention to. I mean, I'm not against people coming to what's known as the land of opportunity and making a better way for them and their family. My problem is that the land of opportunity is the land of opportunity because my people made it that way. It's been at our expense and on our backs. And so am I against people coming in the land of opportunity when we haven't gotten all our just due for creating the opportunities? Absolutely not. And I don't bat an eye in saying that because it's not fair. It's not fair. And so, of course, at one point, what do you expect us to do? Would you, as an individual, I'm going to ask you a question. It's rhetorical. Would you, as an individual who is not with a certain sexual act, allow people to perform that act on you just so you can seem to be non-threatening and get along? It is if we are being pushed into a position, you're pushing us because you really don't want us here. So you're pushing us in a position to fight back. And then when we fight back, you're going to incarcerate us so you can have free slaves. And then going to slide these immigrants right in our place. You better know what's happening. You better watch it. You better know what's happening. If you don't believe me, that's okay. You don't have to. You don't have to. Go back to our broadcast and see how many things we said came to pass. How many things did we say? And it's not just us. It's other people who their eyes are open. Y'all walking around talking about y'all woke. You're not woke. If you woke out of a dream and into a nightmare. You in layers of sleep. You're in layers of sleep. So if you woke out of one dream into another one. Your eyes have not been opened. This is the reason why you can make the decisions you make.
Well, people, this has been another robust 2 hours. We said we're going to pull and bring another approach. We have to build the plan now. The plan was all throughout everything we did, but we have to lay the plan out, because this right here is the alarm sounding. This is the sounding of the alarm. The 500,000 Indians from India is the alarm sounding on American black people. And you know what? Unlike the Asians that are Filipino or Korean or some Chinese, some Japanese, these Asians, the Indians from India, speak the Queen's English because they were subjects to the crown, to Britain. How you gonna combat that? And they have their own language. And we never even thought to create our own language to combat. Somebody would teach it to somebody anyway, because you know it's always that kumbaya. But they break into their language to keep you out in your country. So how you gonna beat that? These people know English, they know how to write English, they know the Queen's English, and some of us don't even know the Queen's English. They're going to be able to outwrite you. They're going to be able to out-educate you. And because they're going to be able to outwrite and out-educate you, they're going to be able to outthink you, and then they're going to be able to outwork you. They're not like the Filipinos or the Vietnamese that don't know English, that held on to their culture like the Japanese and some Japanese and some Chinese did. Some Mongolians did. You see? So this is what we're up against, and we told you that it was coming. But we will see you tomorrow with episode 57 of hashtag ObservationTFR. Hopefully, one day, you will start listening.
Here's the thing about Germany, why I made the curators pick of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Community, heart.